Live. Been getting some good momentum as of late. I know it's kind of impromptu and I don't really schedule things, but I'm kind of a go with the flow guy and had a chance to talk tonight and figured it would be a good time to, preview the Chargers and Texans first preseason game tomorrow at 7 p.m. at Reliant Stadium, as well as use my 53-man roster tool on my website that Texans Takeover or Andrew, that's the actual name. Sorry, I'm spacing out because I'm trying to change my mic. Give me 1 second to change it and let.
Oh, okay. It should be fine. I kind of ran into this one, little rough shot, but anyhow, yeah, we'll do a 53 man. My prediction breakdown. I haven't really done one yet. I really don't like doing them, especially early, but I do feel like we kind of have enough stuff right now to go through it. And it is always a tough decision. There's always tough decisions in general. So, as usual, we'll kind of chop it up here a little bit. People can pile in. I'll get my TikTok set up as well. And we can go ahead and pull up the site now and potentially, I don't know if people want to probably talk about the Chargers game first or do the 53-man roster first. So I guess I'll kind of hang tight for a second. But let me pull up my TikTok to see if there's any viewers or commenters on there. Got that going. Okay, cool. But yeah, if someone is listening and if you could confirm that you can hear me, I don't have my headphones in, they're dead. Everything's kind of gone to whack here. But if you didn't see me go live, I went live yesterday during the day with Big Sarge, had a great conversation with him. He gave some insight on the last Texans practice in which Keelan Rutledge, got into another scuffle, this time with Will Anderson Jr. And obviously the Texans offense had a bounce back day. CJ Stroud hit David Montgomery on like roughly an 80-yard screen. Reportedly, per Landry Locker, he was kind of tracking Kai Kroger. He had some good punts, is what it sounded like. Sounded like there was a couple deep connections to Nico Collins over the middle. But yeah, so we'll start with the game with the Chargers. It's preseason. We talked about it a couple days ago on here. We played the audio from D'Amico Ryans when asked about it. He's a very secretive guy on anything. Game plan wise, whether it's preseason, who may play, who might not play, injuries, etc. I don't know if this is gamesmanship or it's just in case things change and not wanting to put guys on timelines and putting pressure on them. But he really didn't give us much. He was asked a couple questions. They asked him what he was most willing to see, and he said, I'm most willing to see the young guys on the back end of the roster compete. So that kind of hints at like, okay, like no starters will play. And then he was asked about starters and he said, a number of guys won't play or something like that. So, but yeah, shout out HD Traveler. He says, you can hear me. Thank you for that. Brandon Halam, my guy, making a Wade Whoop-Ass shirt. That's a pretty good one. Wade Whoop-Ass. JCTX99 on TikTok. How's Aiden Fisher doing? I don't know. Like, we haven't heard from him personally. I haven't really watched him to say anything. So I don't know if no news is good news or bad news, but he's definitely a guy that's going to probably get a lot of run in this game, and that'll be a good time to evaluate him. Big Bird on TikTok says, open a can of Wood-As. Love it. That might be it. It'd be like Wood-As opening a can and have, dude, that's the shirt. It's Wade Wood-As opening a can and it says as on it, or wood. It says Wood-As on it. It's him opening a can of Wood-As. Should that be it? That might be the shirt right there. Let me know the thoughts on that. Blessing or stressing, but yeah, as far as I guess we can. I'm so indecisive on this. This is where planning might be good, but I can't think further than like an hour ahead. So we're going to share my screen and we're going to look at the website and go to the 53-man roster. This way I can get a look at the roster because right now I want to tell you guys players that I'm eager to look at. So if you go to HoustonStressens.com/53man, or you go to the main homepage, you click 53-man roster. As soon as you pull it up is like the current depth chart. So we can use that for our looking here. So just looking at the depth chart, I don't, my logic too, I've shared with y'all. I would like for CJ Stroud and a majority of the offensive line to play 1 to 2 series. I don't know that it will happen. If I had to guess, Stroud won't play, and Davis Mills will play 1 to 2 series, and then it's like the Mertz show the rest of the game. And I would think that some of the starting linemen may play a couple series, I think. And I hope to build some continuity, get Wyatt Teller out there, even though he's proven he's left guard, he needs reps there in live action. Ed Ingram, he's obviously had a good year last year, but can still knock some iron off. Keelan obviously needs to be starting and playing out there. And then you got at right tackle. I don't know. Maybe right tackle you don't play Braden or Trent as much because they're proven veterans, so they may not play. So maybe Blake Fisher plays some right tackle, which would be good. Urshely probably plays a couple, and then after that you're probably rotating out. So Rutledge got to play. Yeah, Rutledge is definitely going to play. John Davis says great lineup so far. I agree. Sophie says how's Reed Blankenship doing? Again, I haven't personally watched him too close, but I've seen him flash. I've seen him make some PBUs, and he seems to be in the right place. And I've seen him, have some simulated pressures where he's going to do a pressure and backs out and cause an incompletion. I've seen him, blitz for a TFL. So Christian says, whatever happened to Joe Mixon? I don't know. James Murray says, what's your opinion on who starts at right tackle? I really don't know. My intuition leans Braden Smith, but I think it's 50-50. I'm down for either. I love Trent Brown. He's underrated. And let's see here. JCTX, I'm excited to see Noah and Josh play, see if they can push Jordan for the third spot. Yeah, that's a good point. James says, how's Noel been since his return? They really haven't really played him in team since his return. It's been weird. And then D'Amico's comments the other day about Noel were kind of dismissive, we'll see if we can find a spot for him and mention punt return. So I don't know. And they got on the depth chart, which albeit we went over the depth chart, is just they have to release it because it's the first game. And, last year D'Amico was I didn't even do that. The PR did it, I guess. But they have Xavier Hutchinson as the starting slot receiver. So this may not be reflective of their unofficial depth chart, but this will give us a look at some guys that we may or may not, guys that I guess y'all can tell me too, but players that I'd like to see play. I don't know if you'll see much of David Montgomery. I like Mertz, man. I like Mills too. The Davis Mills thing is funny. Everyone hate him. He sucks. And I'm like, dude, Mills is a great backup. I was singing his praises. And then last year happens. And now it's it feels like many of the same people who thought Mills was the worst quarterback ever now think he's the best quarterback ever. And now Stroud's the worst quarterback ever. But it's kind of funny how things can change on a dime. But Mills has always been a solid quarterback and one of, if not the best backup quarterback in the league, in my opinion. And so it'll be good to see him kind of get. And so you have to think too, yes, we want Stroud to get reps, but it's good for Mills to get reps now too, because ideally, if things go correct, he's not going to get into very many games. Maybe, hopefully, there's no injuries, but hopefully, maybe he gets into some games later in the year because of their blowouts. But that hasn't happened too much. So it is important for him to get his reps now in case he does have to come in again. And then Graham Mertz, they kept him on the roster last year. And his first game, he had 2 or 3 interceptions, and I felt like most of them weren't his fault. And then he finished the preseason strong. I like him, man. He's kind of a baller. Got some charisma to him, and he seems to be in practice along with the other 2 quarterbacks to be commanding the huddle well too. So that'll be fun to see. Jawar Jordan's obviously out, so D'Amico Ryan said you're going to see a lot of Noah Whittington and Josh Pitzenberger. British Brooks is obviously injured right now, so maybe you see Demo for 1 series, maybe not. But yeah, for sure, Noah Whittington is a great player. I loved him getting him as a UDFA. To me, I think Jawar Jordan is still, for sure the lock at number 3. But, him being out has allowed Noah more reps. And if Noah gets in more, I don't think that he will leapfrog him because there's a lot to, D'Amico. If you listen to him over the years, every position on the field, no matter what position, he will value a smart, reliable, trustable player over just a raw, flashy talent. No matter what, you can't mess up. And whether you like it or not, that's why you see guys like Eric Murray, who people didn't like, who was trusted by D'Amico and ended up being a pretty good player, like MJ Stewart getting run. it's why you see certain guys get out there and get a lot of reps because he can't stand for mental mistakes. So for that being said, I think Jawar too is really really good and underrated. And I mean, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but like when he played last year, I saw some flashes and I thought he was really going to take off and like be a star, but he unfortunately got injured again. So but yeah, so anyways, Noah Whittington, and you don't know too, like if he's a UDFA rookie running back, if he knows pass protection, that's going to be a big part of it. We all forget, we always want to blame everything on the O line, which a lot of it is, but tight ends and then running backs, like to be a running back to play on third down, like Woody Marks struggled early in the year on pass protection. He had a couple of plays where he, had good blocks, but overall the mental side of it, and he got better throughout the year. So and that's where I think David Montgomery is not being talked about enough is his veteran presence as a third down back receiving as well as pass protecting. So on that topic, like with that, we watched Noah Whittington run like, oh, he's going to take the RB3 spot, but is he NFL ready? Does he know the system? Can he do pass pros? Like those are things we don't really think about that aren't quite surface level. But regardless, I'm excited to watch him play. This doesn't show. Maybe we should go to the my roster builder so that way we can see the full deal here. So you got Noah Whittington, Josh Pitzenberger, and Owen Wright. I'm sure he'll maybe get some, but hopefully mostly Noah and Pitzenberger. Pitzenberger, Ivy League running back. He's pretty solid, dude. I like both those guys. As far as receiving, Nico, there's no way he plays. Hutch, maybe if the one's played, maybe he plays a series or two. Watson will probably play a little bit. Jared Wayne has been balling out this camp. I know people will feel a certain kind of way about him, but he's been an underrated receiver in my opinion and continues to get better. And it'll be good to watch him, continue to succeed with live bullets. Daniel Sopkowitz is having a pretty good camp. I mean, it's going to be probably near impossible for him to make the roster. But I think he's a good practice squad candidate and has made some good, tough catches. I think he'll get a lot of run, and I expect him to have some catches. Juwan Winfrey, we just signed. I don't know how much run he'll get. Jaden Higgins, if the ones go out there a couple series, maybe he goes a couple series. I would love for Stroud to go out there and throw it to him a couple times. Lewis Bond, obviously we all know and love, 6th-round pick out of BC who's been impressing in the spring and also now in camp. He'll get a lot of run. He'll be probably the most exciting guy to watch for me and you and everybody. Joshua Kelly is kind of an underrated veteran. He's kind of like he's older than Jared Wayne, but he's a bigger body guy and he's pretty impressive. He'll be fun to watch. Tank Dell obviously won't be playing. Jalen Knoll probably won't be playing. We haven't even seen him in practice. You got Trayvon Sanders, who might be more of your slot, as well as Jaquan Jackson. So out of running backs, obviously Noah and Josh. Receivers, I'm excited to watch Jared Wayne, Sokowitz, and Lewis Bond, most notably. And then tight ends, maybe Foster Monroe will get out there a little bit. Dalton may rest. He's proven. But if Stroud goes, maybe you might go a series. It'd be nice to watch Foster, blocking and maybe, get a couple of targets. It'll be good to see Cade Stover, supposedly having a good camp, better blocking. Kaylee's said that, and, I've seen some plays myself. He's made a lot of catches. He seems to maybe be potentially smarter as far as understanding the offense, as far as safety valves and hot routes. So could see some of that. Marlon Klein is a big one we all want to see. So he should get a decent amount of run. It'll be cool to have him go out there and get a feel for the game and, show off his athletic ability and make some catches. I expect him to make some plays for sure. Brevin, I believe, he's hurt, so I wouldn't expect him to play. Lane Pryor, okay, whatever. So Marlon Klein and Cade will be fun to watch there. And then, we talked about the O-line, Ursary. I don't know if he should get a series in. Blake will probably play a decent amount. James Neal is a big guy that'll probably get a lot of reps. He'll be fun to watch. Wyatt Teller, obviously I said maybe get one series. We'll see. Jarrett Kingston's a reserve guy. Evan Brown's a proven veteran, but maybe he'll get some run. Keelan Rutledge, obviously. You want to see him maybe a couple series. Jake Andrews is, I wouldn't say proven, but we know what he is, but I'm sure he'll play a little bit. And Jarrett Patterson supposedly having a better camp. So that'll be big for those two to kind of be duking it out. Eli Cox will be kind of fun to watch. The UDFA now in his second year out of Kentucky. Ed Ingram may get a series. Fabechi Wiwu will be fun to watch. Fabechi Wiwu will be a fun one to watch. Someone we're not talking about. Mahler, dude, is a Mahler. And Sam Hagan, I mean, the guy looks the part. Sam Hagan, a guard. He's playing both guard spots. He kind of looks like Wyatt Teller in pads. We talked about Braden and Trent, so I don't know if either of those guys will even play, to be honest. I'm going to keep buzzing through here on a roll, and I'll get to the comments. Defense, Will should not play. Would be, I don't know if Clowney will or should play. Dylan Horton should be. He's fighting for that D and 4 spot, as well as Solomon Byrd, both solid players. Sebastian Harsh was somebody that got raved about. I forgot about him until just now in the spring. I think Will said that Sebastian Harsh was having a good spring. So maybe he's, splashes and can fight for potentially a practice squad spot. But Tommy Togiai, I don't know if he'll play much. Caden McDonald should get some good run. That'll be fun to watch him. Sheldon Rankins probably shouldn't play. Logan Hall should play. That'll be fun to watch him. That's an exciting one for him to get used to a newer scheme and newer techniques, being used more as a 3-tech, and then maybe a wide 9 on early downs potentially. Hopefully, Naquan Jones maybe get some reps. He's kind of proven we know what he is. But it'd be good for him to get some practice because he's not going to get a bunch during the season. He's more of a back end rotational guy. Mario Edwards, veteran, probably won't play. Maybe he gets a couple. Keontae Hamilton, I mean, he's someone fighting for, interior spot. Dominic Bailey. Okay, those aren't really moving the needle quite as much as other guys. Hunter shouldn't play. Dominic Robinson, I'm very excited to watch too. Batting for the DN4 spot, free agent played last for Chicago. He's got a lot of athletic ability, good reports about his camp. Ollie Gay, I like too. It'll be a battle for him, but he's a solid back end of the roster kind of guy. Henry, I don't know how much he'll play. Marte Mapu at will be fun to watch, as well as Wade Woodaz, one of my favorites to watch. He's becoming a quick fan favorite. Jake Hummel will probably get some run at maybe backup Mike. And then Casey Osai is another name to watch for, to kind of watch him at the will linebacker as well in special teams. Z should not play. Aiden Fisher should get a bunch of run. It'll be good to get a look at him. And so it's important to remember too, training camp and preseason in general, like Jarrett Patterson, we know who he is. Like, I know he's improved, but it's like the dude's been in the league, and it's like, and I think he's solid, but we've had a long look at him. Like, normally after 3+ years, you kind of know who a guy is. Like, they're not all of a sudden going to be they're not going to just reinvent themselves. So you would much rather get more looks at guys that you haven't seen, like rookies, anyhow. So, but yeah, going back to the list here, Jake Hansen still injured. So EJ Speed, obviously this is, not updated all the way, I don't think. EJ Speed is hurt as well. Jamal Hill, be good to see him play some linebacker. Haven't heard much from him this camp. Colin Wright, fan favorite, UDFA Stanford. It'll be fun to watch him, see if he can continue his ball hawking skills. Jamarcus Ingram, not so much excited about, but hey, back end guy, going to fight for a spot. Jalen Reed will be fun to watch. I don't know if Reed, obviously Sting will and shouldn't play. Reed probably won't play, but it would be cool to see him a little bit if we could. Merriweather, not really moving the needle for me. Kamari Ramsey's a fun one, dude. He'll probably play at the high safety, free safety. MJ Stewart's injured. Kamari probably shouldn't play. Jalen Smith will be fun to watch. That's another one. I mean, he's coming off injury. He needs to get a lot of run out there, dude. And Elijah Huzzy, I'm excited about that one too. Stephen Hall, not so much. Jalen Petrie shouldn't play, and you got Brandon Codrington. And then special teams, we signed Chris Freeman, so he'll be kicking and giving Kaimi rest. We know who and what he is. So this will be good for Kai Kroger as a punter. But yeah, let me know if I missed anybody. I'm going to get back to the comments. Let's see. The flight man, going to see Colin Wright for tomorrow. Yep. Brandon, wee woo pancakes. Yes, sir. Brandon, I hope we don't see any starters tomorrow. I understand it. Yeah, and I had this realization too. You have 2 joint practices coming. That's a good point. They'll probably play up to a half in the second game, and then the other 2 joint practices will be like their preseason games. AJZ says Whittington is about to ball out Thursday. I've been high on him since the day I found out he came to Texans. Yep, I can see it. Spaz Attack, I know he won't make the roster. Maybe P Scott. I'm so excited about Sokowitz. Yeah, I agreed. I mean, I have the same thoughts. He strikes me as a guy that you can stash on this roster on practice squad for years and develop and like maybe turn into something, get a little more weight on him. But he fits the mold of the type of receivers they like in this offense. Same for Wooding and Pitzenberger. He says Sockowitz 2 receiving TDs. I'm taking that bet. That's crazy. Yeah, he had 19 last year. Yep, he's a stud. Hagen underrated. I think he'll have a great day too. I agree. I think Hagen isn't bad. Space Age. I want to see Fabechi and Rutledge rotate center and guard positions. Yeah, I'm down for that. Life of Colby. I've been high on Noah too. Yes, sir. He says haven't heard much from Jawar Jordan since Pats came on. He's been injured. When he played on one of the first days, I saw he's made some plays. Rishi, what's going on, man? Colby, let's see. Colin Wright playing. I mean, Colin Wright should be playing. Brandon, I know Rutledge needs reps, but I don't want to make him see possible. That's what I was thinking when I was just going through it. It's like you want to see him play a lot, but also if you know he's the guy and like not other starters are out there, and he's going to be your starter, like, yeah, like Brandon said, do you want to make him play a 24-game season? Like, this is more so for guys that like you aren't sure about. Like, I think we're pretty sure about Rutledge. I think we're pretty damn sure that he's the starting center and will and should be the starting center. I would let him rest preseason 1 and game 3. I mean, yeah, now that you say that, like, it kind of makes sense, like just given that logic I said. So shout out Pat Runs Katie on TikTok. What else we got? Let me scroll up. And I'm not an insider or know anything. I'm just kind of giving y'all my opinion, just like y'all have one too. So I wouldn't take it as facts. It's just, we're shooting the shit, talking ball. Jared says in Stroud we trust. Yes, sir. John, do you think run game will be improved or will be more the same? It'll be improved. I mean, it's hard not to improve from like worse in the league. I think they can be around middle of the pack with a little chance to be potentially a little higher. James Murray, any chance we trade Andrews or Peterson for a late pick versus just cutting them? I think Patterson. I think as soon as we signed Evan Brown, that was the writing on the wall for Patterson. And my opinion hasn't changed because of 6-7 days of camp and pads personally. I think the restructuring of his deal, giving him less money but guaranteed as opposed to more money and no guaranteed, makes it more desirable to trade. And I don't know, like I said, if a guy's been here this whole time and you didn't think highly of him, he's solid, but like, I would take Evan Brown over him. And not this is not for me watching camp. This is like me just big picture overall. Because camp is different, like we sit here and analyze it because it's what we have, but like camp is not game. So it's, and I would take, years of game film over days of training camp practice. Like if you have to sit down and like weigh the two, is very similar to the Stroud debate. Like, oh, he sucks because of his one last game in the playoffs as opposed to 3 years of solid play. So it's kind of similar to me in that sense. And it's hard not to do that because we're like in the moment. JCT, keeping his eye on Colin Wright. Big Bird says Stute said on YouTube today that this punter we had was not good last year. It's kind of important. Yeah, they're betting on he's talented and has high upside. He was very highly touted coming out of South Carolina. And maybe there is some nuance there. Maybe the special teams coach stunk at the Saints. Maybe the whole operation stunk, snap and the offense and defense. Who knows? I mean, they're betting on coaching is what's going on. So we'll see what happens. Tomas, can't wait to see Clowney back out there. I'm still in awe we got him back. Yes, sir. Trinity says that Wright will get an interception tomorrow. Calling it sounds pretty likely with what he's done so far. James, we will stay with the one punter we have or pick up someone from the cut list from other teams. I mean, I think that guy's the guy, and it's not even a question. Like, and they've talked about continuity. Like, I'm optimistic he'll be better than we think. I mean, worst case, I think he could probably play hopefully up to the level of what Tommy did last year, which was like average. And, best case, there's super high upside. We'll see. But I don't think he's going to be as bad as everyone assumes, in my opinion. Jonna, do you think the run game? Yep. Let's see. JCTX, hopefully more Smith. Pat says, I just want to see John Christian. I can't read that whole thing. I just want to see John Christian, Kaimi Fairbairn kick. I agree. Can you kick it? Yes, we can. All right. Rishi, are any of the starters playing at all, or will it be second and third string guy? I don't know. I think a handful will, but I think a majority won't. Joe Mama, I think it'll be good for Rutledge to play a little bit to get some reps. Yeah, I think it'd be good to play a couple series, but I mean, I get the case if not, but I wouldn't play him like a whole half or more. Um, he's not fighting for a spot; he's already earned the spot. But that is true because it's a new position. It's center. That's a good point. Practice is different than games, even if it is a game. And a couple quick notes too, like preseason games. I'm guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. Like we watch what we have and we overreact. Like me and Carson Beck, I was like, oh, Carson Beck's lighting it up. But it's like, all right, it's also a preseason game. Teams are much more vanilla. Like they're not disguising coverages. They're not blitzing as much. They're not opening up the playbook. It's a bunch of simple stuff, football. See how you handle this. You don't have, coaches don't care about winning the game. You're just worried about executing. So like you can be working on concepts. You could be putting guys in bad situations on purpose to see how they react. Meaning like, hey, if we call this route concept for the offense and the quarterback into this coverage and it's not ideal, and we just don't check it or whatever, and you just have to figure it out. So there's that stuff too. So I guess it's more of like the raw talent and ability than it is other stuff. So that being said, I know I'm gonna like overanalyze stuff, and I'm gonna try not to over critique certain guys, but like if a guy gets pancaked or bull rushed, then okay, yeah, you can tell. Or if a guy drops a pass, or a quarterback sails a pass, or a running back has bad vision, like you can tell that stuff. But yeah, so we'll try to remember with a little bit of nuance there or perspective on that. Let's see. Brandon, I see starters resting, having joint practice, playing some of preseason game 2, having another joint practice, having a couple practices away from fans. I mean, yeah, we could very well see that. Like D'Amico has shown that, as far as players when it comes to injuries, which is separate but similar, errs on the side of caution. Even this stuff, he kind of eases guys in. Every coach is different, but that seems to be kind of his MO. So, Texans Takeover says, I bet a great dude made that app. Indeed, Texans Takeover made this app right here. He did a great job. Brandon, easy way to check is looking at box scores from preseason games the year before and see who's in there. Yep, that's a good point. Trevor says, I think Noah makes the roster. Man, I would be sick. Let's see what else. So we'll go back to, let me see if my PFF is signed in. Go to PFF, sign in. Dude, this is so weird. Like I renewed a PFF and I did it with a new email, and I did it on my phone, and it like never gave me a password. And then now when I go to like desktop, it's like, what's your password? Like, I don't know. You didn't give me a freaking password. So let me reset this password real quick to log in on pff.com. I guess we can kind of look at their roster, and if anything is there, is my email. Sorry, this is bad. I'm trying to speed through this. If it doesn't work, we'll just go to another site. Let's go to Chargers depth chart. And I don't even know if we need to be doing this, honestly, but we'll do it anyways. Let's look at the Chargers depth chart. Boo the Chargers. If man. Let's see. Ladd, Trey Harris. So I'm just kind of looking at some of their back end guys. Isaiah World. Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know it's worth looking at them. Trevor Penning. People are saying, hoping that Keelan Rutledge is not Trevor Penning. I don't suspect that at all, meaning that he's just a guy that starts fights and not good at blocking. I don't think that's the case. Oh, they got Jake Slaughter. Interviewed him at the Senior Bowl. That'll be fun to watch him. That's some good matchups potentially for Caden McDonald. Maybe just look at some of their back end guys to see if there's any. Oh, they got Travis Burke. Is that big tackle from Memphis, right? Dude, that guy's a stud. That guy's mean. That's going to be fun to watch. Our backup edges against Travis Burke. That guy's a stud. He's like 6'8", and he's mean. Let's go. That'll be fun to watch. They got a bunch of tight ends, Charlie Kolar, Gatson, and Njoku. So I'm sure Gatson may get some run. Maybe these back end guys. Other back end receivers. Brennan Thompson might get some. Fun guy. fast guy. So Trey Lance and DJ. Oh my gosh, DJU is trash. He's gonna throw so many. Colin Wright is gonna get a bunch of picks. DJU is going to throw over under 1.5 picks. I'm gonna say over. DJU is gonna throw some picks. Trey Lance too. Maybe Trey Lance has some success if he gets in against backups because he's a veteran and can use his legs. But he's also not a very good passer. So he may do decent. But then DJU's going to come in and stink it up. And then running backs, Amari Hampton, Keaton Mitchell, they probably won't see the field. Vidal is pretty good. They have a Jarrett Patterson running back. Gregory DeSaroy's. I have never heard of that guy. Ooh, on the other end, they got Khalil Mack won't play, but Akeem Mesidor, I liked him. I thought he fell. So he could see some run early. Nick Barrett is, I think, a second-year defensive tackle, pretty solid out of South Carolina. It'd be fun to watch him. He's a back-end defensive tackle. Tier Tart, scumbag, former Texan, tried to hurt Texans and was dirty in that game late in the year. Let's see. Edge, Bud Dupree, Kyle Kennard. Those guys might get some run. And linebacker, you got Denzel Perryman, former Texans starter. I'm trying to see Delshon Phillips. I'm trying to see names that seem intriguing that might play against our guys. Yeah, I mean, they got a pretty good roster overall, like starters, but as far as backing guys, I kind of pointed out most of the ones that I thought would be appealing. Let me know if I missed any there. And then Space Age. Rutledge does need reps at center, though. Yep. Texas Takeover. I canceled PFF. Thing is so expensive. It is, dude. It is very expensive. Well, they have like an early bird sale. I renewed it. I need to try to get my FTN sub back, which would be nice for DVOA. And then if you're in college, I think do you get a college discount for PFF, or is that just NFL maybe? I'm 92% sure I'm going to the game tomorrow, Spaz. Rishi, Noah makes the roster only if Brooks is seriously injured, and they think Noah can contribute on special teams the same way Brooks does. Yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle. Texans takeover, I agree. The first O should get a drive or two, and then starting rookies. I mean, at the most, that's what I would do. I don't know if it will happen. Brandon, Travis Burke, Jake Slaughter, and a couple others would be interesting. Yep, I agree. Takeover, hold one is Charlie Kohler listed as a starter. Yeah, I think he was. But, they're going to go a lot of 12 personnel. So, I mean, Charlie Kohler is the blocking tight end. They're going to want to run the ball. So, he should be the starter. And they paid him pretty decently. Mesidor will be fun. Rishi, Trey Lance has been very good in the preseason. Yes, he has. Agreed. Space Age, what network is the game on? That is a good question. The game will be on, does it say? I assume normally it's on ABC locally. And I think John Harris will be on the sidelines. I always kind of like the Texans local broadcast. And Junior Collison, fun, former second rounder. Rishi, how did DJU even make an NFL roster? One of the biggest 5-star busts. Dude, he was so bad. And he kept going like school to school. Started out at Clemson as like this top guy. And then he was like the inverse. Like you want to work your way up. He kind of worked his way down. He's like a bigger Tua and like a worse passer too. But yeah, so Texans takeover, NFL Network, maybe. I don't know. What's up, Grafa? God bless the Texans. Blessings. Yes, sir. Kevin Butler, are the Texans Super Bowl contenders? 1,000%. Joe Mama, do you know what we can catch the game on? Let me see. Let me type it into Google. Where can I watch the Texans-Chargers game? Let's see. Texans-Chargers game. It is ABC. See, I know ball, bro. I know ball. It's always on ABC. It's going to be, they love, this is their time to shine, preseason game. I love it when I guess and I'm right. Andrew, where you think you're going to sit? I'm in section 354, row D. Appreciate it. And then HD says 2 is a punk. Yep. Back to TikTok, and you don't stop. Eric, how do you feel about the O-line at this point? I feel okay. I got a little concerned after those couple practices, but I also knew that it's the best D-line in the league and a historically great defense potentially. So I'm still optimistic. And then James, knowing our defense is elite, how would you rate the offense has been compared to the previous years? Yeah, so Henry T, I'll clip another one, but he's been raving about the offense. It's tough too. Like, of course, your teammates are going to rave about your teammates, but it just feels different this time when you hear it. You're seeing more in camp. Last year there was a lot less success. This year's there's a lot more. They're not dominating or like, they're probably losing like 60-40 overall potentially, maybe as far as ones go, maybe 65-35, which I'll gladly take against a really, 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 really ridiculously good looking, really ridiculously good looking defense. That was a Zoolander reference there. I kind of caught myself. But yeah, so yeah, with that kind of context, and if the defense is as good as we think, like the defense was awesome last year and even better this year, and the offense is like punching back, like you don't want to like freak out and be like, okay, this offense went from like terrible to like incredible, but like, hey, it could be a pretty improved offense, But regardless, it's probably Rowdy's probably right in the middle, which is all we want. We just want an average offense. Lewis Bond prop 24.5. Do you think he goes over yards? He's not going to be a big yard guy, so that's kind of tough. He'll get his targets, but yeah, that should be obtainable. James says he lives in Austin. I don't get to go to training camp. I need insider opinions. Laugh cry. I'm not really an insider. I would like to be quote unquote an insider. JCT Tart should have played that playoff game versus the Ravens. That's true. Top of my watch list. It's the usual suspects. Woodaz, Rutledge if he gets enough run. Lewis Bond. Those are like the easy ones. Marlon Klein. I think Ramsey. I think Kamari Ramsey and Fabechi Wiwu are kind of flying under the radar. I think Jalen Smith is kind of flying under the radar. Colin Wright's obviously a big popular one. So, yeah, obviously Caden McDonald, if he gets out there, watching him. Watch the game on 95.7. Just kidding. Nelly's pros offense needs just to finish in the red zone last year. It was so bad to watch. Yeah, true. And then defense needs to be better in the red zone as well. Defense dominated everything except the red zone. Like, that was part of it too, is like we were so damn good on defense, but we were terrible in the red zone. So it's like if they would have been like average in the red zone, their stats and numbers would have been like insane. Nelly offense, yeah. And then Rishi, I'm going to Portugal and be watch. That sounds nice, dude. Senor Larry, Colin Wright. I can't wait to grind some all 22, bro. That's what I can't wait the next day to watch some all 22. I don't know if I'm allowed to on YouTube, if we can just like live watch tape like this, like watch it together and just give you my thoughts. That would be dope. I guess I'll try it. And if they dock it, I'll just not monetize it, which I don't really know how much these videos monetize anyhow. Like I've only been eligible for a couple of months. So maybe we'll do that. Brandon says, Space Age says, Brandon, you got jokes. Texans takeover, the percentage was so high because teams barely got there. Yeah, but it was conversion. That's true. Small sample size. That's a good point. That's a good point. Damn it, Andrew, you and your stats and logic. But yeah, so let's go back to I hate doing this, but I'm gonna do it. And y'all talk me through too. Andrew, I know you added the info for PUP and IR. Can you tell me? I assume it's accurate. I feel like practice squad, it said something. So if you go to 53-man roster, I'll click it again just to let's see, reset. Let's go to HoustonTexans.com. I'll start over. But if you could confirm, like I think I'm gonna go to the glossary. I haven't really had a chance to like super go through and make sure all the details are right. And again, like I admittedly need to get brushed up on these things myself as far as PUP and IR and practice squad as far as rules go. But if you go to 53-man and go to glossary, it shows you all this stuff here. So I assume I don't believe you would ever be wrong, Andrew, but is the practice squad right on the numbers? A group of up to 17 who practice with the team but do not play in games. I thought it was like 9 that you can like taxi essentially. So maybe you can have 17. Like that seems high to me, but I thought it was only 9 really wouldn't make sense for practicing wise. But, I know Nick Caserio always talks about having an additional group of 9 guys. So they don't look at it as a 53-man roster. they look at it as a 62-man roster, I'm pretty sure. So let's see. So I think you can, and they just claim it. I'm not sure what you're saying there. Melvin, what's up, man? Love all the stuff you've been doing at camp. Makes my morning drives faster. Appreciate it, man. Yeah. And that's like my idea with these streams. And then I uploaded them to Spotify is because I'm a big long form content guy and I'm a psycho and watch all kind of stuff. So I listen to stuff on like 2x, bro. Like I'll knock out a 2-hour podcast in like 40 minutes, or I guess it would be an hour. I guess divided by 2. But yeah, like sometimes I'll look at a video like, oh, it's 2 hours. And then I'm like, I do 2-hour shows all the time. And then I listen to it on 2x. I'm like, oh, that went by quick. And I listen to my stuff sometimes too, if I ever want to like try to clip something or just listen, do some, what's it called when you kind of do some self-scout? When I do some self-scout and listen to my own self, I'll listen on 2x. I feel like I already do talk fast because I don't like having dead air. And then now when I do 2x, it's like super, super fast. So if you are listening right now on a replay on 2x, shout out you for doing that. I'm not alone in that. And so you said it does show how it's divided. Okay, so let's run through the glossary real quick. Cut, released. A player is released from the team's roster and becomes a free agent, free to sign with any other team. Cut players do not count against the 53-man roster limit. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Pup, sick pup. Physically unable to perform, a specialized roster designation governed by Article 45 of the NFL CBA. This is very important that you guys know that. Remember that. Article 45 of the NFL CBA. Andrew, you are the man, dude. That allows teams to protect roster spots while injured players recover with strict rules on timing, player activity, and roster counting. Core eligibility criteria. Football-related injury. The injury must have occurred during an official NFL activity, e.g. a game, practice, or minicamp. NFI was non-football injury, which is what Jalen Knoll had, also Joe Mixon. So I know we have PTSD from that, but Jalen Knoll had an NFI, and people are like, oh, well, he didn't get hurt playing football. What was he doing? Like, he got hurt playing football, but outside of the facilities and not during team activities. And so pre-existing injury, the player must have the injury prior to the start of training camp. So it has to be football related, it has to be pre-existing. And so this is for PUP. So if you're on PUP now, this wouldn't be someone that we could. So PUP, when we're doing this, I don't know if we're able to, Andrew. It's a nitpick if you want to, but like if we could auto designate guys on PUP that are already on PUP, because we can't, it seems like we can't add them to PUP after training camp. So the no practice rule, that's my understanding. I could be wrong. The no practice rule, a player is only eligible if they have not participated in a single training camp practice or preseason game. Yep. So that answers my question. I just said taking just one snap disqualifies them from the PUP list for the remainder of that season. And we'll go through the roster, but I think it was like MJ Stewart. Who else? I forget, what the current allocations for PUP are. Phase 1 active PUP training camp. When training camp opens, okay, well, I'll just keep reading. I'm already confusing myself. I'm sorry. But yeah, when training camp opens, teams place eligible injured players on the active PUP list. And let's see. Roster count players do not count against the offseason 90-man roster limit. Permitted activities. Oh, yeah, so I'm tripping on the practice squad, too. You get 90-man, but then you have like a taxi squad of that are like the 9 eligible for the game. I'm an idiot, dude. I'm giving y'all all kind of bad information. And so from here on out, listen, maybe fully or not, or just go in here and read it. This is all accurate. Permitted activities, players can attend team meetings, sit on the sidelines, utilize team medical facilities, participate in rehab. Prohibited activities, they cannot participate in practices, drills. So PUP is active PUP. Maybe a guy's about to be back and you want them to be, around the building and not just, cast it off. And then activation window, player can be activated. Phase 2, reserve PUP, regular season. So there's another kind of PUP. There's all kind of puppies around here. If a player on active PUP is still not healthy by the final roster cutdown, the team must either activate them, release them, or place them on IR, or transition them to the reserve PUP list. Okay, so disregard what I said about putting guys on PUP already, Andrew, because we can do that here. Yeah, I'm giving myself a headache with all this PUP and non-PUP, and this is crazy. But yeah, so there's a lot of details. This is very thorough. This is what I wanted. I should have read this all before the live stream. That was my intention. Um, so I didn't sound like a total idiot reading through it. But you know what? People make mistakes. I'm human. Um, and we'll go through the rest of that later. But check it out. There's a lot of info that I feel like it'll be boring to read right now, including financial and contract implications. That's dope. But anyhow, the other one's IR. Officially, the reserve injury list, a roster designation used for players with football-related injuries who must miss extended time. It frees up an active roster spot while keeping the player tied to the franchise. Core rules and details. Roster impact. Players on IR do not count against the 53-man active roster limit, allowing teams to sign a replacement. Salary cap. The player's salary cap hit still counts against the team's total salary cap. Minimum absence. A player on the IR must miss a minimum of 4 games. Return limits. Teams can designate up to 8 players to return from IR during the regular season, up to 10 if the team makes the postseason. So you can do 10 guys on IR with a designation to return, and an individual player can return from IR twice per season. We didn't really need that, but good to know. Practice window. Once a player is cleared, they have a 21-day window to activate them. And then lastly, practice squad, a group of 17 players who practice with the team but do not play in the games. Practice squad players do not count against the 53-man roster. They can be signed by other teams to their active roster at any time. The 17 spots are divided as follows: 16 standard players plus 1 spot for reserve for an international player. Of the 16 spots, 10 are young player spots, must be rookies or second-year players with fewer than 2 accrued seasons, and 6 are veteran spots open to players with any amount of NFL experience. So hopefully you are not more confused after me reading that. Let me check the comments. Melvin, I watch it on 1.5x, but it's very much appreciated. God bless you. Appreciate you, man. Grafa, have you heard about Saturday morning inspection? He clips every game highlights. Blessings. I think maybe. I just don't know if it's like clips or if I can just like live streaming, just like raw watching it. Brandon, if we keep playing the Chargers this much, they might as well be a division rival. Agreed. What's up, Larry? Swarm. Texas takeover. Pup is just very complicated in general. Yeah, and I made it worse. James says opinion, will B. Jordan make the team? The TD room seems tight end. I don't think he will. He hasn't been healthy, and he was already in the bubble. So let's get to the fun. Without further ado, we might see him in the playoffs again. Yep, Chargers. So face on the screen. That's too big. There we go. That's what she said. All right. And so we'll go to my roster builder. And we can click on historical data. Let's do that. I think we talked about this last time, but on average, they've kept over the past 3 years under D'Amico, they've kept 2.7 quarterbacks. They've kept 5 fullbacks. This is good too. You can scroll down to reference while you're doing it. So it's either 2 or 3 quarterbacks. It's either 5 running backs and fullbacks total. It's either 6 or 7, receivers. 3 or 2 tight ends in the past. I think it might be 4 this year. O-line's either 8 or 9. D-line's either 8, 9, or 10. LB, 6, 6, or 6. DB, 10, 10, or 8. Special teams is 3. Okay, fair enough. All right, let's start with the easy stuff. I'll start doing all the low-hanging fruit. Owen Wright, let's get you out of here. I'll get guys that will just straight up cut. Winfrey, we just signed. You'll get cut. Lane Pryor, you're not going to make the team or practice squad. And then like practice squad note too, like if a vested veteran, which I believe I need to brush that up, maybe add it to the list there, is I think if you've accrued 3 seasons or more of playing time, not sure what the minimum like playing season is, and you get cut, then you don't go to waivers, you're a free agent. Let's get some more low-hanging fruit here. Sam Hagan, see you, bro. More low-hanging fruit. Sebastian Harsh, see ya. Keontae, see ya. Bailey, see ya. Ollie Gay, hate to do it. Like ya, see ya. Casey Osai, maybe you're a practice squad guy. I think he was last year. Jamarcus Ingram, we'll see you later. Stephen Hall, we'll see you later. Codrington, we'll see you later. Let's see. You got to scroll down. Oh, yeah. I think right here it's kind of sticking a little bit. It can't. Yep. Kind of stuck right there to cut. But yeah, Chris Freeman, see you later. There's our 3. And you go to the bottom, it shows you the guys you've cut. And so British Brooks is injured. I'll just say he'll be back by week 1. And so practice squad, let's see. I guess we don't have to do practice squad. It's going to give me a headache to try and do all that, but I know we can keep a bunch to practice squad, but I'm going to say, and you can move up and down to do the roster, where they're at in the roster. I'll say that we keep Noah Whittington on practice squad. I think I'll say that we'll do Josh Pittsburgher to practice squad. Maybe I'll change that in a second. Sakowicz, you can go to the PS as well. I'd like to keep you around. Jared Wayne, he may be a vested veteran. I'm not sure. Maybe not because of playing time. Practice squad. Joshua Kelly will just cut. Trayvon Sanders will cut. Jaquan Jackson will cut. Brevin, I'm sorry, but I think you'd be vested veteran. Got to cut. Maybe we'll re-sign you to practice squad. James Neal, maybe you could be a practice squad. Let's see. Yeah, let's go to James Neal practice squad. Patterson, I want to trade you, so then I'll just do cut. Eli Cox, we'll put you on the PS. And let's see. Jarrett Kingston, put you on the PS. I'm putting everyone on the PS. Maybe run out of spots there. This is not great radio for Spotify, sorry. But, you can just skip or fast forward, or you can just listen to me ramble. Let's do Solomon Byrd, practice squad. Dylan Horton. That's going to be tough. I'm going to say cut and maybe sign you back to practice squad, or I don't know if there's any trade value, because I'm going to keep Dominique Robinson as my DN4. I'm biased. I admit it. Interviewed him. Great guy. But I also like the signing. I feel like when you get new blood in, you're signed for a reason. I think his contract was cheap-ish, but it seemed like there was, someone they sought after and raw upside that they can mold. Mario Edwards Jr. is a tough one. Like, I don't know if he'll make the roster. I'm going to cut him for now. I should have waited to make that on the back end, but let's just do that to trim some fat. Jake Hanson's hurt. Let's put you on the, I believe, can I put him on the pup? I didn't clarify if I could put him on the pup. I'm going to do it. I don't know. I still don't know from reading the rules. Groffett says EJ Speed and Miss Stewart's on pup and Sion Taki's on IR. Jake Hanson just came back. He just came back. Nice. EJ Speed. Yep. Brandon Nospace because they would lose in the 1 seed. Talking about the Chargers. Okay. Groffett says the All-22. I'll check it out. Brandon last year had a bunch of predictions about the season that would come true. This time it's more difficult to guess. Yeah, it's a tough season. Texas Takeover, I honestly think they make more money by just claiming the video, so I doubt they care. Okay, cool. Rishi cut Josh Noah to the practice squad. Larry, in my opinion, starting O-line should play 2 serious. Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. Graffa could cut Justin Pittsburgher. We're good. Noah making the 53. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it, but I just think it's, it's going to be hard to keep that many running backs. I like them. Forrest, so ready for tomorrow. Graffa, literally half of the wide receiver room is going to practice squad. Yep. Hanson's good. Okay. Hanson is good. Okay. Good to know. So I'll leave Hans Dog alone. To me, though, like Hanson and Hummel are fighting for a spot, but I'm kind of concerned about Fisher, not hearing a lot from him. Obviously, we'll wait to see preseason, but I'm going to put him on the practice squad for now. That's maybe controversial, but given the room, EJ Speed is on IR, Jamal Hill. And so my Sam linebacker, well, it's tough because we're not really a 4-3, but I guess we can just put Wade Woodaz over there. Let's see, you can move to Sam linebacker, move him up. Henry at the will. Marte Mapu, Jake Hummel. I'm probably going to have to cut Jake Hummel, which will be tough because I think they kept 6 linebackers. But Mapu could be considered a DB. but Hummel's going to be a good special teamer. Like, could Mapu not make the team potentially? That's tough. Man, I hate this. I always get to here, like when I do it in my head, and I just stop because I'm like, I don't want to do this. Tremont Smith or Colin Wright, Tremont Smith's experience, special teams, but you know what? I don't know if they will cut him, but I'm going to cut him. And put Colin Wright back up there as the cornerback 4. Kayvon Merriweather. Let's just say practice squad. MJ Stewart, you are on. Is he on PUP or IR? Did y'all say IR? He's not on IR, is he? I think he's on the PUP daddy. And then Jalen Smith, Elijah Huzzy. Elijah Huzzy, I'll put you at backup nickel. Move to nickelback. Great band, psych. So we've cut 21, and we are at, if we scroll up, 57. Dude, that was pretty good. Whew. Only 4 moss. Look at me, dude. I'm so proud of myself. So obviously receiver 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be tough, man. So can I put somebody on PUP right now or no? If they practice, this may be controversial. I'm thinking about putting Tank on the IR. I don't know because he practiced the other day and it was in pads, but he didn't get hits. Gosh, give me a second to think about that one. I guess we could cut Justin Watson and keep Lewis Bond and Tank Dell and Jalen Knoll and Xavier Hutchinson. Okay, we'll do that. I can't IR Tank with how involved he's getting. I mean, but there's a chance he could get IR. So Dalton, let's see. Yes. Foster, yes. Cade, yes. Marlon Klein, yes. Okay. I think we'll keep the 4 tackles. And then that would put, let's put Evan Brown at left guard on the depth chart. Oh, nope, not over at Keelan Rutledge. We're going to put you at left guard. And then Keelan, Jake, Ed, Fabechi. That looks pretty good to me. Okay, let's just make sure depth chart's good. Stroud, Mills, Mertz. Running backs, Monty, Woody, Jawar. Fullback, British. X, Nico, and Hutch. Well, they actually have Hutch in the slot, which is crazy. But I think when Tank Dell's healthy, that he'll be this. I mean, Tank is a Z, but I guess we'll have him listed as the starting slot. So it's kind of a mush there. But yeah, Nico, Hutch, and then Z, Higgins, Bond. And I will put, Bond is a slot, and so is Knoll. But Knoll could honestly play Z behind. Let's just not get too in the hairs on that. But yeah, tight end. We'll call it like this. We'll call Marlon Klein tight end 3 over Cade Stover. Ursary, then Fisher. Teller, then Brown. Rutledge, then Andrews at center. Ingram, Wee-Woo. And so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Who do we appreciate? O-lineman. That's, 8 or 9. And let's see where we're at now. We're at 56. And one thought, if possible, I don't know how it would work, Andrew, if you're still watching. Is there a way, and it may be on there already, we got 10 of 17 on the practice squad. Okay. That's cool. You got the live ticker up here. If there's a way to see the total counts by position, I think that would help. Let's see. It might be on here already. Reserve pup list. Yeah, I don't know if it's on there and it may not work, to the eye, but as you do it, hey, you have 8 linemen. There were 7, that's just me being lazy thing. All right, Will and Davion, Tommy, Caden, Naquan, yep, Sheldon, Logan, Daniil. I think at the D line, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, and they've kept 8, 9, and 10. They like the D linemen, so that's good there. Linebacker 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's see if yes, okay. I just want to make sure the depth chart's good. Henry T, Mapu. Again, this is kind of like receiver, like Will and Sam. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know what? This is crazy, but call me maybe. I'm gonna cut Jamal Hill. I hate to do it. He was a good special teamer last year. Maybe Jamal Hill and Jake Hummel are battling for a spot. But Jamal Hill as a linebacker is more of the will linebacker. And if we're keeping Henry's a starting will, who can also play Mike, and Wade, who is a high upside will, who I can see rotating in and, passing downs, as well as Mapu, that gives you 1, 2, 3 wills. And then you have 2 Mikes, which Henry's a hybrid, but I'm going to keep Jake Hummel over Jamal Hill. Call me crazy. And I'm going to put him down. No, I'm going to put you as the middle linebacker. I'm a psycho. I did it. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we got, so now we're at 55. 2 more left. This is so tough, dude. Oh my gosh. Secondary depth. Dude. What? Man. And we can't cut Mertz, right? Because if you keep Mertz last year, you have to keep him this year. Supposedly you kept him because you didn't want to lose him. Now you kept him in the system, been on practice squad. You're invested in him. It wouldn't make sense to keep him and then now cut him, because then you risk the chance of someone else taking him. So you can't do that. Maybe is there anybody on here we might trade? Offense is pretty tight. That's pretty. It's going to have to be defense. Yeah, if there was a way to up here, maybe Andrew, if positions would be cool, but if not, worst case, offense and defense, a live ticker, so you can be all right, I got 25 and 25, whatever. Again, if not, that's just nitpick stuff. Let's see. So it's going to have to be in the secondary. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we're not going to keep 10 defensive backs, Garrett. Well, we kept 10 the past 2 years and then 8 last year. Maybe we will. Damn. Huzzy, I'm kind of concerned if you try to put him on practice squad that he might not clear waivers, honestly, because he was a player that was pretty highly touted in the draft process, but then tore his ACL in the one of the bowl games. It wasn't the Senior Bowl, I think it was the other one, but he would have been drafted. He went UDFA, came back late, healed, and had some good snaps. This might be controversial, but Jalen Reed I'm looking at, because Reed Blankenship took his spot. Kamari Ramsey comes in, can play safety, free safety, strong safety, big nickel. I like Jalen Reed. But I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking, let's just put him on practice squad. And there's still plenty of time. Injuries could happen. There's one left. The final cut down. Who's the last person I should cut, fellas? Cut some assistant coaches as Grafa, Forrest. I think Tank may be there on a designated to return. 7 receivers should make the team, in my opinion. It depends on IR and Justin Watson is big for special teams. I agree. There's a chance that Lewis Bond could not make it, but I guess would a team scoop him up? Ideally, to me, Bond, if he hasn't keep he's on a good trajectory, but if he doesn't just keep lighting it up when he starts playing against the ones more, then maybe he's a practice squad guy. But is he good enough for another team to claim him? It would be the worry. And Justin Watson, he is a good special teams guy. He fits the big body profile, but they got so many of those. They got Nico, Higgins, Hutch. You already got so many of those big guys. And I'd remove Mapu. Yeah, Mapu. He hurts too much. Hummel is a Mike. Yes, sir, he is. Hummel is a Mike. Mertz on practice squad, but he would have to clear waivers. I don't know that he does. Somebody's got to do it. Blessings proceed with the cuttings. Nobody wants to take Graham Mertz. That's true. But why did they keep him last year is my question. Yeah, Mertz is definitely – sorry if that's annoying. Sorry about that. Mertz is definitely the guy. All right, so it's between Mary F. Kill, Graham Mertz. What if they went 3 tight ends? What if Cade didn't make the roster too? What if Cade and Brevin didn't make the roster? No one's really talking about that. Doesn't seem likely, but hey, you never know. Okay, it's between Graham Mertz and We got 6 linebackers, so it's between Graham Mertz and Huzzy. It's between Graham Mertz and Huzzy. It's between Graham Mertz and Huzzy. I can't cut the Huzz, dude. All right, fine. Damn, but I don't. Screw it. Whatever. I'm sorry, guys. Let's put him on the practice squad. And it's green. We got 53. Let's go. 5 more guys could have made it. We'll say we're going to sign 5 guys from other teams. How's that sound? Submit Houston Texans for LAC game. Submit roster. And now on the community, go and roast me. Oh, look, I already got 1 like. Look at that. You can like. That's pretty sick. Good job, guys. Brian Stahl. We got a couple anonymous people. So are they all anonymous? Are you able to make it not anonymous? I guess that would be like a feature if there's a I don't know. But yeah, we got a good number of them on there. So can I go back to view roster and can I download it once I view it? Did I miss my chance to download it? Back to community, roster outlook, my roster builder. There we go. And share. Let's see here. Share. Why is it doing this? There we go. Save. And then we'll go to defense. Save. All right, cool. That was fun. Cannot cut the Huzz, dude. Love the Huzz. Forrest, I have a feeling that Jordan's might not make it either. Can't stay healthy. Yep. Hutch can replace Watson, in my opinion. Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that is right at an hour. Anything else I missed, let me know. I'm going to read some TikToks. James Murray, sorry, my questions are open-ended. I value your opinion. I figure I should ask my questions. He says, any guys you think that make the practice squad end up on a different team? Yeah, there's plenty of guys. I kind of went through it there, I guess. You're good, James. Appreciate you tapping in. I'll try to maybe go live tomorrow. I don't know. I'll be at the game. Maybe go live the day after, but want to hit a newsletter, go to HoustonStressins.com, subscribe. Going to start writing more. Still wanting to finish my CJ Stroud extension article. I have a hunch and hope that it may happen before the season. Really hope it does. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Love you guys. And until next time, let's see. Oops, my bad. I have to show my face for that. Until next time,